Here we go. Welcome, everybody, to another Podcast Editor Academy live stream. This is for the benefit of everybody who does post-production like me for podcasts, and this might even be helpful to anybody who does some video. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Today, we're going to be doing a live stream with Kam Lal. I'll bring him in just a minute. We're going to talk about how we can collaborate on our projects with multiple people, even if we're not in the same place. And it's not a phone call. It's not going back and forth on email. It's not sharing a Google Doc. It's actually on the project that you're working on. So it's very interesting to me. We had them on a few years ago, but they have really expanded their services and what they can do inside of Notetracks. So that's coming up in just a minute. If you're watching us live, of course, we would love for you to be able to comment. And I want to see your name, give you credibility for asking such great questions. Make sure you give StreamYard permission to show us your name and your little image when I show your question on the screen. So go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. And that way we're going to be able to show your name and I'll be able to say, hey, DR from Nashville, stuff like that. Which she's always on these streams. I'm surprised she's not here yet. In fact, go ahead and comment if you're in the stream, just so I can see that you're there. And of course, if you have any questions during this thing, go ahead and pop them in there. And I'll be interrupting Kam during the demonstration or whenever we're chatting to ask your questions if it's relevant at that time, or we may hold them to the end. But I'll try to make sure to take care of all the questions that are asked while the live stream is going on. And if you're watching the replay, I apologize for you guys missing this, but this live stream will be available through February 13th. So just up until, actually 14th, through Valentine's Day of 2024. So the replay there. But at the end, stick around to the end of this live stream or the recording of it, because Kam's got some special deals I think he's going to throw for everybody. And here, see, this is what I'm talking about. Facebook users here. Thank you, Facebook users. So go to StreamYard and give permissions there. And if I sound weird, it's because I still have lost my voice from Podfest. And this is the worst thing ever. I have an ear infection. I can't hear out of this ear. Not fun for a podcast editor. So I'm going to try and mute myself when I cough like this. The magic of post-production. No, that's not post-production. That's the magic of live streaming. So we're going to bring on Kam Lal here in just a second. But of course, remember, throw in your questions for him as we talk today about Notetracks. All right. Welcome, everybody, to a live stream here from the Podcast Editor Academy. We're going to be talking today with Kam Lal from Notetracks. Kam, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Steve. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's really cool to see that you guys are expanding and growing what services are involved within Notetracks. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And of course, giving us a demonstration how me, as an editor who has nothing to do with the recordings, except for when they're done, they hit stop, we can collaborate on, hey, do this with that, take this out, do those, move this here. That's kind of stuff that Notetracks helps us do, right?
Absolutely. And I'm super excited to be here. The first demo we did was a few years ago. And part of the features that we've put into place have been, thankful to this group. So, you've got some excellent team members. So shout out to the various folks that are customers, Daniel from Roth Media, Jesse McCoon, Brian, Top Tier Audio, Rod Morey from Sydney Podcasting Studio. I mean, these individuals have been, great customers, but at the same time have given us some highly valuable feedback that's basically been shaping the way of things that we're doing. So super thankful to those. There's more to name, that's for sure. And yourself, shout out to you guys, and really stoked to be back here to show you what we've done, collect more feedback, and help you in your work pretty much.
All right, so show us what Notetracks can do and explain to us all the magic that happens on the back end there.
Yeah. Well, while I present my screen, love to ask the audience, how can their lives, be better or change when they're collaborating and communicating better with their clients on projects. So if there's any insights, please feel free to chime in.
I'll let you know when they chime in. They're waiting to see what this is all about. Maybe we got some new people who have never heard of Notetracks before.
Yeah, and that might be a good thing to start off with. But prior to sharing my screen, I mean, just a little bit of background on the company and myself. I'm a audio former music producer. I also have a tech background. This was a tool that I needed to take notes on music. It was inspired in a musical classroom, and today it's being used by thousands of top podcast production agencies, editors, musicians, to basically collaborate, which is another form of analysis on each other's projects in our remote world today. So the use case is this: you're an editor, you're working on a draft for a client, you're sending it over to your client for approval, and there's feedback that's being taken place. Generally, that feedback happens over chats, SMS, emails, referencing timestamps of like 30 seconds. Change this. I don't like the intro here. Sometimes you have specific timestamps. Sometimes you have entire ranges, and sometimes you don't have any timestamps at all. It could be like, take out that thump at the beginning, and as an editor, you're looking for where that thump is. So this is really a tool to basically pinpoint exactly where the change needs to be made. It's very visual, so you're able to see it. We design it as if it's audio editing software. So there's a waveform. It's very visual. Precisely be able to identify, what you need to change, and then improve the draft, the revision, and move the project forward. So that's the case that we solve for. And there's obviously other cases. We've got folks that use this within their team for quality control. So a team member is quality controlling the podcasts that are going out. Definitely for clients, definitely for editors, definitely for other team members. So sometimes clients themselves have other team members on the project, whether it be legal, marketing. There's approvals that need to be made for compliance, or a marketer that's looking into the podcast and trying to identify the clips that they're going to be taking, and then creating content towards. So it's definitely great in an environment where there's things that have to be highlighted, annotated specifically for audio. So we designed it specifically for audio. Really started as a note-taking tool for audio for the purpose of analysis, and today it's used for many different cases with regards to reviewing and approvals and feedback all across the audio file. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen real quickly.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell people what you told me just as we're about to come on. This also works for video.
Absolutely.
That's huge.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, as we're passionate about audio, we design primarily for audio. But as many folks, work on audio and video at the same time, or work on audio for video. So we definitely integrated video, from day one. Video has always been a project that you're able to work on. However, we haven't promoted it too much. We really like to focus on the audio aspects of things. But it's I think it's especially important to note, especially when more and more folks are starting to produce video first podcasts, that you could really work on the collaborative aspects here. So do you see my project screen at the moment? Yeah.
Yes. Everybody should be able to see it now.
Yeah, great. So I'll basically go through this, as if you're a new user, and I'll be highlighting the new features as if you're an existing one, or of Notetracks. But essentially, this is the main page once you sign up. And I have to mention this early on, but what one of the newest things that we've done is introduce a free plan. So it is entirely a free tool that you could go in and sign up to. It gives you access to certain projects, and obviously, if you start going over those project limits, etc., there's tiered payments, but once you sign up for free, this is the project page that you come up to. It's designed as if it's kind of like a Google Doc. So, all your projects are here. Very easy to create a new project. You have folders. Folders is something new that we've added to the new Notetracks with regards to, we saw multiple customers were using multiple different projects and then needed a way to organize them. So obviously added the search for the projects, and then folder structure, so you could separate these by your clients or different projects, different episodes, etc., to keep your stuff organized, or even have an archive, etc. But yeah, let me go into creating a new project. So as you mentioned, Steve, you could create an audio project, or you could create a video project. So if you're working on a video podcast, draft, etc., you go ahead and create the video. And we treat in terms of processing, load times, etc. We treat different projects differently in terms of media. So you will have to choose between one and the other. For the sake of this demo, I'll go for audio, and then I'll go ahead and show you what a video project looks like later on. But let's call this demo for the lack of finding a better title. And this is the space. So we've done some changes to the space for folks that are already familiar with it. You know, we made some enhancements to the playback, brought it to the bottom, you know, kind of giving it a spot of a feel, added stuff like speed, some micro user interface changes, but essentially the same type of, you know, main features that you'll have. I'll go ahead and drag and drop, you know, you could drag and drop audio files, wave files, a variety of different files into the web browser itself. That's what I just did. You probably didn't see my Finder window, but I just dragged and dropped an audio file there. You could also add tracks via our Dropbox or Google Drive integrations, or select it, you know, via your Finder itself. And then once you've got the audio, you've got everything you need to see the audio. So it's very visual. I'm using a MacBook touchpad, so I'm actually scrunching down over here, and I'm able to kind of see this small snippet of 30 seconds, which happens to be an ad spot at the moment, and listen to the audio. So you've got your playback controls over here to go to the end, go to the beginning, you know, pause, you know, resume, etc. And then various different speed. There was a post in the group about you know, I think it was somebody composing music, and their client wanted to kind of compose music that was basically, you know, that would sound good if it was played at 2x. Well, I mean, if you were an editor and putting in the music in, and you wanted to have the client audition it at 2x, well, they would be able to listen to it. So it's an advanced audio player. It's not too complicated. So it's not like giving the access to a DAW or an editor to a client. You know, there's too much in that case to give them. But it is advanced enough to give the client enough, you know, playback capability, so they're able to, you know, fast forward, pause, resume. And the best part about it is that, you know, you don't have to stop the audio to make a comment. You know, I'm listening to the spot right here, an idea comes up, and I'm like, I'm like, you know, this starts a bit late. Can we start a bit quicker? Type of thing. So yeah, and with these, every time you enter a comment, it's considered a marker, and you're able to move it. So if I miss the spot, I'm able to bring it back closer, just to kind of get that precision in there. And at the same time, sometimes you're not just talking about a specific spot, you're talking about an entire region. So just like you know, a Google Doc, you could highlight this entire region and then say, you know, remove this over here. One thing that we also added is the ability to add voice memos. So just in case, you know, there's opportunities where you need to really, I don't know, describe that thump that's there and maybe mimic it. You could click on the microphone, record a voice memo of what you see, and then you'll have that as a little wave that you'll be able to attach there as well. But yeah, I mean, you have the form of creating comments in the form of range or single you know, case comments. So again, to go back to the case that an editor would use it's basically to send the draft over to the client. So really, I'm just you know, uploading let's say the V1. And then I'm sharing it with the client, so that I could get their feedback and approval on what they're saying. So really, me marking down these comments, I'm actually the client. But the good part is that, you know, everybody's able to be on the same page. So the way you share the projects with clients is by simply clicking the share. We've made tons of enhancements to the share screen. So there's two ways of sharing the project. You could share it privately, where you enter in their email. We ask for their email because there's some stuff like notifications and things that they could get when there's new stuff to the project. But for the cases where you don't want your client to create an account or have to log in, or get an email, we have this quick way of sharing, which is basically just a public link. So I could activate this public link. I could also, you know, one click, get this link to a Gmail, a Messenger, WhatsApp, Slack, or Teams. So we've integrated, you know, the most popular productivity tools that our customers are using to be able to, you know, in the case that they really need to, you know, pop this into an email or pop this back into Messenger, you know, just to kind of keep the team aware in their current environments, they can. You could also start the playback at different times. So I hit the share button at 9 seconds. So I could send a link that will just play back as of 9 seconds. And obviously we have different permissions of the link. So, you could edit, edit the project, you could comment on the project, or you could just view. So if you're just sending something where you don't want anybody to, make any, changes or disrupt the project, you could just give them the view settings, etc. So
I got a couple questions already for you.
Go ahead, please.
My buddy Daniel says, I want to know how many clicks it is for my clients to access and use the platform.
Yeah, I would say, hey Steve, I could send this to you, but basically this is pressing copy. I'd press copy, so that's one click, and then I'd love to open up an incognito mode, but you probably won't see it because I'm just sharing this tab. But basically, with that link that I'll send you over, it'll come directly to this project. So they basically have one click. That's a good way to pitch this, but they have one click to access the project. They will come into this project, directly. And once they click new comment, the only thing that will ask in this guest commenting mode, where you don't have to log in or create an account, is just their name. So they could put their name, they could put any name, but it'll just say, enter your name, which is 2 clicks. Enter your name, John, Daniel, etc. And then type in the comment. So I would say maximum three clicks to get to listen. 1 click to listen. So 1 click to listen to, once they click on the link and they get into the project, then they could do it, or, listen to it. And that's just 1 click, but 2 clicks if they'd like to start commenting it. So 3 clicks in total.
And this is all done in the browser.
All done in the browser. Yeah. So that's a thing. I mean, as editors are working with editing tools, many of these tools you'd have to download, etc. Those tools would be great to give clients access to or have them download. But again, that becomes too technical, too cumbersome. So this is all done in the browser. At the same time, could even be done on their mobile phone. So they could open this up on their mobile phone, listen to the project, and then be able to comment.
And does it support all the major browsers?
Major browsers. So Chrome, we build with and for Chrome. And then secondary to that, we'd say Safari. And then under that umbrella, under those 2 umbrellas, you have also Firefox and Opera. But I'd say the majority of our users are on Chrome and Safari.
Cool. All right. Now, Chris Stone has a question we'll get to later, but I want to bring up Daniel's other question. I don't know how this would be done mechanically, but would it be great to have the comment timestamps imported into a DAW, such as Pro Tools, as markers? Is there something like this?
Oh, absolutely. There is. So this is great. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but let's go. Let's go into it. So once let's say, once I've gotten all these comments, basically we allow the export of these comments in a variety of different formats. So one format that we started was just a simple text file. And I could paste this into I don't know if you see my browser here, but it's going to be a text file with all the timestamps. So we allow for the download of just all the timestamps into a text file. And that's just for somebody that needs to paste it back into a doc or review it, print it out, et cetera, et cetera. However, what in this specific case, which was asked, a few years ago or less, we were asked to get these comments into importable formats for the various different audio editing tools. So initially, we covered Audition, just because Steve, you're an audio, you're an Audition editor. Audacity. Audacity.
Actually, I'm Audacity, but there's a majority of people in here is Audition.
Exactly. So we initially covered Audacity and Audition, which has been great. Our editors that use these two love it, because once they've got all the comments, then all they have to do is just click export. They get their Audacity or Audition friendly. So we basically tweak our export formats to the import formats of Audacity or Audition, and then they're able to see this as marker files, and be able to see all the changes and the comments that need to be made in their DAW. So we covered those two. However, there are other editors that are being used in this group. So Hindenburg was another one that came up. Again, shout out to Brian, I think, as well as Jesse, who both helped out with the Hindenburg, or asked for it at least, integration. So Hindenburg is also the same thing. You get this out of Hindenburg. And then Reaper, shout out to Daniel, who got us going on the Reaper markers. So Reaper is another format that you could export to. So Pro Tools was the one that Daniel on our chat actually mentioned. and there's probably a variety of different other editor tools too. So the reason we probably don't do it for other editors is because some of those don't allow for an import mechanism, so you can't actually import into them yet. So we covered the major ones that I did allow for that. Pro Tools it changes their formats from time to time. They actually did a big marker update. So what we did is we've got a partnership with this really nifty tool. I'd probably love to do another session just about this nifty tool, but it's a tool called editing. Let me just get it. Editing tools.io. I'm going to paste that later on, or Steve, you can send them in the recap email. But editingtools.io is this nifty tool that I think podcast editors should definitely know of. There's a couple of interesting things specifically for that platform that help out editors in post production. But what we've done with them is that we've allowed them to take our files. So you could basically take let's say our addition markers format, upload it to them, and then export the Pro Tools import marker. So Pro Tools has a variety of different ways. But long story short, yes, you can get all your comments into Pro Tools. It's probably a five click step process at max. And it's via the folks at editingtools.io that help you out. But yeah, we'll be expanding on this list, and you could already do it with the ones that you currently see.
All right, let me hit you up with one more comment or question here from Chris Stone, which is earlier.
Shoot.
Is he wants to know, is the video included in the pricing tiers that are shown on the site?
That's a great question. Absolutely. That's such an interesting question, and it's funny that it's not that clear. Absolutely. So yeah, video is shown in all the pricing tiers. So on the free tier, you could on the free tier you could go ahead, sign up and start uploading a video project, and as well as the other tiers. So there's no differentiation. There's differentiation in terms of projects, storage, and features, but in terms of the video, no. That it works for all the different tiers.
That's cool. All right, let's take you back to your presentation.
Perfect. Okay, great. So yeah, so okay, got a little sidetracked, but we covered the comments. We covered replies to them. So as an editor, once you've got some feedback from your client, you could go ahead and reply. We optimized our reply, our commenting screen to have kind of a pop up where you're able to have an entire discussion. So we've made some user interface changes. We've also added the ability to mark things as resolved, and obviously have the emoji to kind of motivate the folks on the project. So every comment that you see, what makes this very unique is that all the comments are directly on the track. So we say collaborate on the waveform, or get everybody on the same wavelength, and it's literally doing that. We want everybody to be on the same wavelength at the precise time. So all the comments that you make are attached to the track, so you can visually be able to scan through, see what changes you can make. You need to make, et cetera, et cetera. However, there are folks that like to work in what we call a vertical, commenting mode, which we have over here. So this is our enhanced vertical commenting mode. We're able to scroll through any of the comments that you make. You're able to see them per track. So one thing I didn't mention earlier is that you could in this project you could put one track or you could put multiple tracks. So if you're working on a revision, you've got this is a V1 and then you've got a V2 underneath there. You're able to kind of have both tracks and then solo, mute, and then see the changes to ensure they've been made. So some folks like to treat our projects as one track per project. Some folks, if they don't mind, some load times on some extensive files, do multiple tracks for the same episode, so revisions, etc. But we support as many tracks as your browser memory could take, and at the same time, you also have to be cautious about load times when you're loading multiple lengthy files. But if you're doing V1 and a V2 on a 45-minute podcast, which I'll show in a few moments, you can definitely use the multiple track segment. So yeah, you this is the vertical comment mode. You could scan through stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So that basically covers in. I mean, what what Notetracks was before, and just with some enhancements. But let's get into the new stuff now. So new stuff, obviously, transcription is a huge part of podcasters, editing journey, and it was definitely asked upon. Not so much for the purpose of using the podcast for stuff like show notes, but it was more for finding things in the audio, scanning through the audio. So if somebody's mentioning something, so we added transcription. What I'll do at this point is I think I'll load up another project that already has stuff transcribed. Give me a moment. Let me do this. Do we have any more questions from the audience so far?
Well, Mike Wilkerson is jumping in to say kudos for the dark interface.
Cool. Yeah.
We like our dark mode in our little editing bays.
Absolutely. We are actually, so we've been dark from the beginning. We have been asked to do a light mode. So that's something that we're currently working on, for just a little switch to go to light. But again, as we're all working in dark rooms and sometimes at the, late hours, having a bright interface is not the best look for our eyes. Yeah. So, okay, great. So we got this loaded up. So this is a great example. So this is a version 1 of a podcast, a draft. That, let's say, my editor sent to me, and then I'm basically making comments. So visually, this and this track are exactly the same. But in this discussion, let's see where it is. In the V1, I'll just go to the V1. Whoops. In the V1, the main comment was, can we beef up the audio? So, the editor would say, sure, we can. And then, provide a V2. And then in the V2, you could visually see, like, as a client, I'm able to visually see, oh, wow, like, okay, this does look, obviously I'm going to listen to it, but it does already look to me better, because I could see it's been, compressed and augmented, et cetera, et cetera. So, not to get back into the comments, let's get into the transcriptions. So you're able to easily, apply transcriptions to the track. So here I got transcriptions for the V1 and the V2, time-stamped. And then at the same time, you're able to copy the snippets if you need to. So I'm able to, search through if I need if he mentioned something about Boston that I need to find, I could quickly be able to find the Boston. I could go back to the portion of the track and play it back, etc. I can make comments, etc. So transcription is a way to it obviously adds to the things that you could do. So again, if you're trying to get the transcription and put in Chat GPT and get some show notes on it, you can certainly do that. But we put it in place mainly because the folks were asking for ways to search within their audio real quickly, so they could scan through a 45-minute plus audio pieces and be able to find stuff. So and obviously we could be adding more stuff now that we have the transcription. We are also working on automated prompts that you could put to get the type of output that you would need. So I'd be curious to know how folks are using it, how they want to be using it, et cetera, so we could expand on this, because there's tons that we could do now that we have the transcription that's AI generated for the tracks. Another thing that we've added is, funny enough, all the notes that we put on the track are basically timestamped, but we started getting folks that started showing us projects with a comment in the beginning and a comment in the end, with these gigantic comments saying overall notes. So overall notes on the project, I love how this sounds, I love this, but I want to try this, I want to try it out. So stuff that's not relevant to the actual timestamp, that again could be in an email or could be in a Google Docs, but again is relevant to the project. So the folks that asked us for what we call a simple notepad, kind of looks like a Google Docs within. We kind of pitched Notetracks as a Google Docs meets SoundCloud, but now you actually have a Google Doc within Notetracks. So you could, this is a simple based text editor within it. So you could add your overall notes, questions, put your info on the season, whether it's a transcript that you want to paste back into here, or some general points and notes, links, references that you'd want to put. You could add as much as you'd like that's not necessarily referencing timestamps in the actual track. And obviously you have stuff like checklists, highlights, media files, anything that you typically see in a note-taking tool within that, and that all saves in the project.
Hey, Cam, I do have a question.
Shoot.
Let me ask a question first, and it might answer the two that Mike
Yeah.
Wilkerson's got is, so the
Mhm.
transcript that's being generated, is that something we can then export out and use somewhere else, like for ADA compliant stuff?
Absolutely. So one
Okay.
click. I love how we're going to be focusing on how many clicks things take, but one click and you've got the entire transcript on your if you need an export option, etc. We could definitely provide that. But really, one click and it's on your clipboard. And then per comment, like if there's something that somebody's saying and you need to send it to the compliance and say, so and so said, this little paragraph right here, can this be said? Are we okay with this type of thing? Generally, you'd want to put it on the track, but in the case that you want the exact wording of what said individual said, you could copy individual snippets or the entire transcript.
Okay, and then Mike's asking, it's a two-part question here. So first, is the engine you're using to transcribe something you engineered, or
Yeah.
does the transcription set have something that would take, say, the words two guys talking spelled out and make it his branded number two guys talking camel case? Can it change that to his, like proper names and stuff are hard to spell. Sometimes it gets it wrong.
I might have lost the question, or
Well, the AI that you're using, is this something that will be able to adapt, I guess, to
great
learn?
Great question. So yeah, no, I mean we so there are yeah, I should have showed you that. But once you actually start the transcription, we do ask some questions so to help you. So right, yeah, to help the transcription engine with regards to the transcription, we are asking the amount of speakers, and that's basically the main thing. So the main thing is to separate the speakers and knowing how many they are. So that's as much customization as we have at the moment. But sure enough, if there's any further customization that needs to be done, happy to do it. And right now, the reason why we ask it is to separate obviously the timestamps of who's talking. But since we're already able to identify the different speakers, the next thing that we could do is add speaker one, add speaker two, and then be able to modify. I think that's already one of the next things that we're rolling out for transcription. Be able to see the names and then modify the names, to say that this was Chris, this was Adam, et cetera, et cetera. But if the question was regard to, can we input stuff? Is it, just a standard transcription that's done that can't be enhanced for the podcaster? And can we be adding, our information to help with regards to the transcription? Absolutely. That's the way we're going, and that's the way it is to transcribe. You immediately have to choose language and the amount of speakers when you select something to be transcribed.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
He just
Yeah.
posted another. Let's see if I got it. Okay, the sample is "Welcome to the two guys talking," and it's the two guys talking is all one word, camel case stuff. Uh, then the words two guys talking are used in the audio files. Can we tell the engine to identify and change it as it encounters it? So taking the word TWO, the word guys talking, which most transcription software is going to write it that way. Will it say two guys talking the way he's got it?
I might have lost the example.
Can you see the screen? Can you see the
No.
question on the screen?
Let me switch over. Okay, cool. The sample is welcome to Two Guys Talking Podcast, a regular review of Steve Stewart's greatness. Okay, great. When the words two guys talking are used in the audio files, can we tell the engine to identify and change it as it encounters it? That's interesting.
Yeah.
As it is right now, I don't think so. So I think the easiest way that would happen is that if it did detect it, then you would be able to. The easiest way that we could do is we could kind of like replace this word. So it's kind of like every time you see it,
replace.
Find and replace. So replace this word. This is not the word, and then it find and replaces it. But yeah, no, definitely. That's interesting. It's an interesting request that could be solved on multiple parameters to train it so that if you're doing, I could see it. If you're doing a season and you're constantly having the same speakers, having the same names, you wouldn't want to be finding and replacing their names at the same time. So it's kind of like remembering the parameters of adjustments. That's amazing. That's a pretty good feature request, Mike. Thank you.
And I guess that's if he's going to use the transcript for captions and stuff, not just for review.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, this is a non-issue. But he does say perhaps a feature request for the future request for the
Absolutely.
feature.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Now you got some other enhancements too, so I'm going to jump out and let you take care of those.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay, so we covered over transcription, we covered the overall notepads, we covered enhancements. Let me just go through my checklist. We covered the new share. We covered the new exports. Okay, so one big one that I mean is not meant to replace the DAWs because again the DAWs are where the majority of the work happen. Editors are highly complex tools. But one thing that we've added is an editing component. So we've added what we like to call micro editing. So we've always been asked of like, if I see the intro is here, if the client doesn't like this entire intro, and I just want to allow them to see what it looks like if I just cut this out real quickly, can I split this and delete it, etc. And remove it. So absolutely. So right now at the moment you can. We've added editing as micro editing as well, as what we like to call it, to be able to allow you to split, delete, create a montage. So if you've got intro music that you want to put in and then move the track a little bit forward, type of thing. It's all non-destructive. So again, you're able to have access to the original files without worrying about deleting them. However, in the case that you want to be doing some micro edits, we are allowing for that. Our full focus is definitely on the commenting and collaboration and reviewing. But sometimes in the cases of reviewing, you need to create something really quickly on with the user that allows them to be able to listen to what it could sound like without having to open up your DAW, process the file, make the montage, and then send it to the user, etc., for review and approval. So if there's if you're discussing something with your client and they're like, hey, listen, I don't like this intro. What does it sound like if we remove it? Well, this is it. What does it sound like if I add this music? Well, I could drag and drop it in and I could see it. You could export everything that you could download the mix of whatever you create as your montage within it, and that's as far as you go. So again, we're not trying to get into the hands of the editors. We like our focus on documentation, collaboration, reviewing, and approval. But in some cases, clients have asked us to include this editing just for the case of some quick micro edits that need to be made. So the ones that we cover are obviously the split, the fade ins, the fade outs, the copy, cut, delete, and that should give you enough to be able to make these micro edits. And if it's more extensive, then go back to the editors, the powerful editors that could do this. We still good?
Yeah. Powerful editors like Audacity.
There you go. You got it. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, I think I've covered the gamut in terms of enhancements have been made. I want to show you what a video project looks like real quickly.
Yes,
just so
please.
you kind of have that idea. A second over here. Whoops. Yeah. So basically, same type of idea. I mean, you have you have the comments and you have the playback controls, and then this is my favorite video. I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but you have the.
We can see it and we can hear it.
Okay, great. So yeah, same type of thing. You've got the vertical comments, range commenting, the waveform, etc. I think the screen's kind of cutting out. StreamYard's cutting out the bottom of the screen, but let me try to change that. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Sorry. So yeah, you could, in the case that you want to reduce the video size, you can. But everything that you normally see in a audio project, the audio waveform specifically. So you're commenting on the frame, but you're also commenting on the audio frame. And then here, I mean, there's not much going on in this audio, so there's not much in terms of the amplitude waveform, but you're still able to visually see. You could add multiple tracks. So again, if you're trying to work on video and you want to audition some different type of music for an intro, you can create a montage in here as well and then review it with the video. But yeah, I mean, the use cases, again, I upload a video draft of the podcast. I click share, second click, I copy the link, and then I send it over to my client, and then they're able to, comment on things that need to be changed. What I didn't mention with regards to all the projects is that if you are, I mean, we kind of there's two types of collaboration. There's asynchronous, which is just a fancy word of saying things are not at the same time, and then synchronous, where it's at the same time. So synchronous is what we're doing right now. We're on the same page. This could be showcased in a Zoom, Zoom call. We could be reviewing the audio files or episodes in in a Zoom call at the same time, or we could be doing it offline at different times. So we certainly promote the asynchronous mode of like, okay, everybody's working different time zones. Everybody's not available at the same time. So this is a quick way that you're able to kind of, leave feedback directly on the track, at your own time. And then what we also do that I didn't mention is that we send email notifications. So when there's activity on the project, you are notified. So as an editor, you don't have to, wait, okay, is my client gonna, has my client submitted the feedback, are they working on the project? You could know as soon as you start, being active on it. But what I was trying to say, or long story short, or short story long, is that we see this often used in synchronous mode as well too. So just presenting in Notetrack kind of augments the client experience, and allows for note taking, reviewing sessions, on Zoom calls, on team calls, just using this as a tool that's not as extensive as opening up an editor, but just something that we're able to kind of load up an audio, load up a video project, and then be able to make notes directly on the tracks.
I want to make sure I'm clear on something that you sent me a note to. It says added editor integrations.
Yeah.
So that is the Pro Tools and the Hindenburg. But and just sharing the project is the way that you can get actual editors, people, to collaborate on the project. Will there be an issue if two people are reviewing the project at the exact same time?
No. So yeah, on the note of the synchronous mode, I mean, that we actually promote that. So if I share this project with you, Steve, I invite you to this project, what will happen? You get into the platform. What will happen is a little bubble will pop up like your Google Docs, and it'll show me that Steve's here. So that kind of promotes the synchronous mode where we're together on the same page at the same time. So and that's actually where we want to be. If the edits are being made, what we're also looking into is the edits being made in real time. So it's kind of like, if I send you this project file and I take this out, what will happen is that it'll be taken out on your end, and you'll be able to listen back. So I think somebody in the group was looking for this specifically, but I remember them asking of like, is there a collaborative way to be editing an audio file or making changes in the browser? And yeah, with this you can. I could share this project file, and you can comment on it, and I'll be able to see you, comment on it and reply to these comments in real time. So you'll pop up, Steve, that says, great, I'm glad, type of thing. And at the same time, it could also be seen and done in editing.
All righty. I'm thinking you covered everything that you sent me notes for.
Yeah.
No, wait.
I'm looking at my notes at the same time too.
Voice memo comments. Did you cover that?
I did it real quickly, but it was basically the ability to kind of put a voice note in here. And I hope this isn't trigger.
Yeah, let's not mess with it.
Okay, let's not mess with it.
Okay. Sorry,
that was the end of the session. Boom.
Yeah. So that's why it just went by real quick. And I was like, wait a minute, that's something that's kind of interesting, because one thing I can see happening here is that the person, usually the podcaster, is reviewing it, and they're trying to explain what they want to type into the Notetracks, but then they can't. They just can't explain it very well. So maybe they leave a voicemail.
Yeah.
And it's better than just calling and leaving a voicemail, or dictating something and then sending it via email. So that's pretty cool to have that there.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. We see a lot of folks also use it with regards to like linguistics, where it's kind of like the enunciation was off or something like that, and then they need to kind of say it instead of describe it type of thing. But the joke at Notetracks is that when you're too lazy to type in a comment, press the micro button, and then you press the button and you say, Jeff, this part sucks.
Well, you know what? As podcasters, I mean, we hate writing. That, at least in my world, I hated the show notes and all that stuff. I much more would prefer to communicate over the air. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Daniel wants to know what the draw feature. What's the draw feature?
Great question. So yeah, this is something that was originally it's in the original Note Tracks, but at the same time we've enhanced just the way where it's presented. But it's a quick tool to be able to we again make ourselves unique by just being a kind of like a note taking tool on audio. So if you need to put like add spot over here, you could type in that. If you need to say interview starts here, you could do that. So it's just another we give you these little drawings like microphone, if the voice is here, if the music goes here, we give you these little stamps or ability to be able to draw things on the track so you could visually kind of scan through and see stuff. So it's like okay, sure, you have comments and feedback, but let's say you want to kind of map out do a draft of things and kind of have an idea of where things are going. It's just another way to kind of present and review the audio. So we allow you to have these drawing tools to be able to do what we call draw across the track.
That's fun. It's kind of like stickers.
Absolutely.
Everybody likes stickers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we also pitch ourselves as a post-it notes for audio. So,
Yeah.
Post-it notes for audio.
Now I know that you were leading into something in an email to me, and I kind of let people know that you're probably going to be offering something here today. So before we finish up today, why don't we tell them what we're giving people who are watching the live stream? Keeping in mind, first of all, keep in mind that if you're a Podcast Editor Academy member, you've already got a deal inside the Academy, and it's actually sweeter than what I think Kam's going to offer.
Exactly. So you'll definitely, folks, check out Steve's podcast editor academy. I mean, definitely got some goodies in there. That's for sure. For everybody who's tuned in, again, super thankful and super grateful for everybody who's here, been in the group supporting us, and building with us. So I've got we've got a Tracks 25 discount code for the next 48 hours on any of the plans. So it doesn't have to be an annual plan; it could be a monthly plan. And again, underlining that this is entirely free, so there's no reason not to be on Notetracks. If you're an editor working with clients and there's feedback, even if there's not, and we get some cases where folks are like, there's not too much feedback. I mean, we see some of the top production agencies, really focus on feedback and add that as a value add to their, to what they're offering. So that's actually what makes them different from other editors. So, check it out, try it out. And then if you would like to, purchase more capacity, the Tracks 25 is the discount code that we'll be using any of the plans. I'm very, I try to be as active as I can in the group. So if there's any questions, feedback, super responsive. You can reach out to me. There's the little chat bot. I'm always monitoring our intercom chat. So the little chat bot, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Not hard to find. Steve, still with us? I think we went over our time slot. Steve, either start.
And if I give everybody a tip, whenever I have people that hear me, there we are. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think we're in sync now.
Something happened. StreamYard glitched out there. That's interesting. Okay. It has never happened like that before. And I think so we had a couple of people who noticed that we were gone for a minute. Let me go back to what I was going to say about this. Whenever I have something where I have to change what my client is doing, I always try to accommodate what their workflow is. But if I've got something I'm integrating in that, then I got to give it 3 months to see if it's working. So if you're going to try Notetracks, try it for 3 months and use the discount code so you're saving yourself 25% each month while you're growing into it. And by the third month, you'll realize, is this too hard for us to integrate or not? Because 1 month, I can guarantee you, is not long enough for a test for almost
Absolutely.
anything these days. You either have to fall in love with it right that second, or you got to give it 3 months. And most of the time, it's 3 months.
Yeah, well, oh, yeah, yeah, I totally agree with you. I'd also say that most of the folks that truly get it really get it fast. So once they get in, and if they upload the track and put in a couple of comments and share the project, and then share with a reviewer, that then they're hooked. We've seen that. So that's great, and they stay for a long time. So we've got folks from this group that have been with us for over 2 years now, and it's been amazing. And they're highly they just keep expanding on the usage of the product. So it's really really good. But we give you both ways. I mean, you could try a free one, get on board, purchase the tiers to go all in. But yeah, just happy to have this group on board. It's been truly exceptional to have wonderful folks like yourself and the rest of the group be able to use it, support it, and continue to help us build it out.
That's awesome. If anybody's got any comments before we go, make sure you get them in the chat real quick. We did have a few people who said, hey, like Daniel, he said, that's fantastic. Thank you. He's part of the 1% Pro Tools users. Chris Stone said thanks. That was earlier for his question and answer about the video.
Daniel's got what new features are you working on? Yeah, great.
Oh yeah, well, you've added a bunch of stuff, so
absolutely. Well, I'll say two. I mean, there's always two areas of focus. The area of focus is audio. So anything we could do with the audio, with regards to the audio, so we are working on some integrations with regards to enhancing the audio sound. So again, and not to be kind of like a this is an editor thing type of thing, but it's kind of like if you're listening to bad audio and you need to quickly be able to enhance the sound of the audio, then here's a quick button so you could just listen to it better. Sure, you might be able to export it and use it, but we're really trying to help the folks listen better on things. And then obviously, with the transcript, like I mentioned, there's tons of stuff that we could be doing. So obviously, having ChatGPT like prompts to be able to do summarize, give you show notes, etc. But we'd want to keep that more on the focus of helping you review and collaborate. So summarize this. What are the action items that could be done? From all the comments. What are the action items that need to be done? So it's kind of like, here's the things that need to be. Here's all the comments that are made. Now here's a checklist. Of everything that has to be worked upon, type of thing. So definitely some AI-esque audio enhancements, and then note taking, productivity features, to say the least.
Awesome. And that's to say the least.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for being on, Kam. Appreciate it. And everybody got that code that's going to work through, is that through noon on Saturday or something like that? To 48
absolutely.
hours.
We'll keep it open till Monday. Come on, Steve.
Don't tell everybody that. Give them 48 hours.
Okay, cool. And then
because what's happening Sunday. Nobody's going to be watching. They're going to be all watching something other than Notetracks.
Saturday. I'll stick with your Saturday.
And if we're editing on Sunday, we did something wrong.
Yeah. What I do want to also share with you, and if you're going to share this later, is one is a use case study from one of the members in the group that's been a user with us for a while. How we helped him save his editing time and the client's time. Rod Morey from Sydney Podcast Studio. And then there's also this document, this revision checklist document that we have with regards to the best practice of, again, getting drafts, getting feedback that you could send to your clients at the same time or use for yourself. So I'd love to give that, free to the group. And then there's that editing tools websites that you have to mention somewhere, or we have to do a talk on editingtools.io because there's such a great, it's kind of like an open source team, and they've got these amazing tools, and one of them specifically allows you to kind of, there's always a question of like, how do you time code stuff live, like right now we're talking, and it's like, if we had, and they've got this cool tool where we could just press start and then just press a button and it'll give us all the timestamps of where we want to add music, where we messed up. And I see that as a question all the time. And I just discovered that they have this feature, but they do a ton of stuff. So not that I have any affiliate, aside from the fact that they integrated our thing, not that there's any other affiliation, but I just think it's an exceptional tool that other podcast editors should know about.
That's awesome. Well, Kam, you send me those links. I'll make sure that they're in the Facebook group for this video, which is available for 7 days. Or if you guys are subscribed to the newsletter, it's going to be in the newsletter as a recap. Plus, I've got announcements. In fact, I'll talk after Kam leaves here today about the upcoming live streams. I got a bunch of them scheduled and a couple more in the works. So, but first, I want to thank Kam Lal from Notetracks coming on and showing us his enhanced tool.
Super grateful. Thank you, Steve. Thank you to the community. Thanks for everything you guys do, and looking forward to continuing the conversation with you. Happy collaborating.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take you out if I can remember how to do this. Actually, I don't remember how to do this.
I can press the Leave Studio button.
Here, how about this? There it is. It worked. He's in the back room right now. So I'm still not able to hear out of this ear. So it's really weird hearing yourself in your head. Sign up for the newsletter, get a recap on this, and to remind you to rewatch the replay at certain specific points if you feel that there's something that you want to go back to. But coming up in the near future is a couple of, actually right now I've got at least 4 and maybe 5 video editing demonstrations. They're going to include things like Premiere Pro, Logic Pro, DaVinci Resolve, and a couple other ones that I know people are really interested in. So those are going to be coming up in the near future. In fact, the first one will be Monday, this coming Monday at 8 p.m. 8 p.m. So get on the newsletter because those announcements come through there. And that way you'll know when they're coming up. You'll be able to schedule it on your calendar or, set time aside to watch the replay for those 7 days when they're available to the public. We broadcast to both YouTube and to the Podcast Editors Facebook group for 7 days. And then after that, they become part of the Podcast Editor Academy, where we have all the tools and resources from the many years that we've been building up all these resources, the discounts like from Kam. There's a better discount from Kam for Notetracks for Podcast Editor Academy members than what he offered here today. Sales scripts, all kinds of useful tools, and of course resources like live communications with me. So go join the Podcast Editor Academy if you want to get all of those wonderful deals. All right, that's it for today. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate all of you here, Mike, Daniel, Chris. I wonder who else was in here. There's other people that didn't comment, so I appreciate y'all being here. But I will see you again Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern for our next live video.